Welcome to Inner Racing by Motorsport This is the audio version of my popular monthly free video series on mental skills in motorsport. I'm your host Greg, and I'm here to share with you practical insights and strategies to help you enhance your mental racing performance both on and off the track. So get ready as we dive deep and explore the mindset behind successful racing, and as we look at practical ways that you can sharpen your racing mental skills performance and gain a competitive edge when you go racing. Let's get started. Hi everybody, and in this week I just want to have another look at confidence. Why? It comes up so often, whether it's through drivers and riders themselves or through driver coaches, whether it's through managers, mums, dads. It comes up an awful lot, and it's something that really does bear looking at, because as I've said before in the past, confidence is not a thing. It's what we call a nominalization. And a nominalization is anything that it's the common way to describe it is something that you can't put in a wheelbarrow. So it's something that we describe as a noun, as a thing, but it isn't a noun. So it's confidence. And as you'll know, I firmly believe confidence is actually a collection of beliefs. What do I believe to be true? Either about myself, the situation, my environment, my machine, whatever it is. But there's other things that come up with confidence. And there's kind of things you'll hear as well. I hear, oh, he's just got to be more confident. Oh, if I could just be more confident. Oh, they say I've got to be more confident on the brakes. Oh, they say I've got. We get this all the time, and it's unclear as to what we actually mean. And confidence is an interesting thing. And when I was rereading Why We Make Mistakes, which is it's a really interesting book because it does show up our sort of confirmation bias and our self-efficacy bias incredibly well. If you like that kind of book, I'd recommend it. But it's brought up some interesting things. So let's look at a couple of them. So in a recent video and in a couple of sessions, I think I've mentioned recently the latest Mission Impossible sort of teaser trailer that's on YouTube, which is this fantastic stunt of Tom Cruise going off a mountain on a motorcycle into a free fall on a parachute. And it's how they did the stunt. If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. One of the interesting things is there's a tiny little throwaway sort of comment that he makes as he's walking towards a helicopter. He says, "Don't be careful, be competent," as they're about to do a skydive. And that's so spot on. And it's the same way with don't be confident, be competent. Because competency is far more predictable, far more reliable, and I can be competent without necessarily being confident. Do you rather, let's say you had to go in for some kind of elective surgery, right? And you turn up at the hospital and you've got to have this surgery. Would you want a confident surgeon, guys like, oh, well, I've not done this before, but, I'm good with my hands. I'm good with a knife. I'll give it a go. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be great. Or would you want a competent surgeon who goes, yeah, no, it's not a problem. I've done it 100 times. Yeah, it's all, just run of the mill. Not a problem. Right? Now, one of them seems confident, one of them doesn't seem confident, but it's the competency that is the thing that we actually want. So when we think about confidence and competence, think about how it applies to racing. So somebody might say, he's good, but he's got to be more confident. Well, is that true, or are they just going to be more competent? Because if I'm competent, my results are going to be fairly consistent and predictable. If I'm confident, well, we've all seen drivers and riders, just send it at turn one. And that's confidence, not necessarily competence. So we got to watch when we confuse these two things, competency with confidence. And when we look at confidence as well, we've got to look at our beliefs. As I said, beliefs play a big part. 3, 2, 1. So in this book, as I was reading through it this time, I think it's about the fourth time I've read it. I was drawn to, because of a conversation with a driver recently, a little passage about golf. and a discussion that a study had with PGA golfers. And I think the figure was one of the PGA golfers said, well, if you're sort of like sinking a ball at 20 yards is not like 80% or something, then you should just give up. But when they actually looked at the figures, it was about 58% of the time they would actually sink it at 80 at 20 yards. So actually, their self-efficacy and their belief that they were much better than they actually were was so strong that it led them to not practice as much as they possibly could. So I was like, oh, that's really interesting. But then the other thing that came in was that it also depended whether it was an eagle or a birdie. Their efficacy, their ability, their competency to sink the shot depended on what had come before. And so then we start to think, well, there is competency, but then there's beliefs and the fact that if something matters, it can affect my performance. So we've got to look at competency first, drilling the skills, and that doesn't matter whether it's breathing, whether it's HRV, whether it's track time, whether it's braking and getting our braking traces right. It doesn't matter. Every element of your preparation and your performance, whether it's the three pillars of performance, remember we've got our technical, our physical, and our mental. Every element should be drilled to the absolute maximum. You should be a master of each thing that you do. And then once I've done that, then we can start to look at my beliefs. Okay, what do I believe is true here? Okay, is there any evidence to the contrary, which might actually make it hard for me to prove my belief? And we all know the sort of archetypal. It only takes that one victory, that one pole, that one great qualifying session, that one time that I go round that corner flat out for me to change my beliefs entirely and realize that I can do it every time. So beliefs are strong things. Confidence might be a thing, but it's made up of these other elements. But competency is the thing that's really going to be repeatable, it's going to be consistent, and it's going to be predictable. And I can be all of those things and highly, highly skilled without exuding what we might naturally think of as confidence. Confidence is a slight bit of a red herring. It's all actually about competency, mastery, and skills. So think about any of the skills that you could improve your competency in and that could make a difference to you the next time you go racing. Things that you're already good at, but could maybe just improve a little bit more. Things that maybe you haven't been paying attention to as much as you could. So here's something I want you to do for yourself, something to try for yourself. I want you to pick 3 things in each of the 3 pillars. So 3 things in the technical pillar, 3 things in the physical pillar, 3 things in the mental pillar. 3 elements, 3 competencies that you could improve upon. 3 things that you could give a little bit. And that wraps up another episode of Inner Racing by Motorsport Mind. I hope you found this month's topic valuable in your journey towards peak performance in your racing. To stay updated with the latest content, be sure to subscribe to the newsletter, download the app, and subscribe to the blog. Just visit motorsportmind.com or follow the links.